your weekly source for tribal and community news, interesting guests and discussions, plus a local events calendar. Good morning. Gary Fife, Jaho Jifkadas. Welcome to Muscogee Radio. Mabu Hedjitawitchkis. We are privileged this morning to talk with a couple of folks from Sapulpa who just went through an incident regarding traditional Native American clothing. In this case, some boots, some Navajo boots. A student was barred from wearing those boots during her graduation. We'll be speaking with Michelle Bear Robe and Liseanne Yazzie, the daughter. And in the second segment of our program, we'll have our dashing Darren DeLon joining us again to co-host. And we'll be talking about the festival preview. If you're looking forward to the Muscogee Festival for 2016, we'll have Brian On the Hill and Carmen Tiger from Tourism and Recreation joining us to talk about the new schedule. And there are some new changes there. So we are delighted to have those folks come in here and let's talk about the festival. First of all, we have Michelle Bear Robe on the line. Michelle, you with us there?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much. I know that you're taking a little bit of time there at a particularly busy time, but we thank you anyway. Back in May, we had a bit of a flap there as your daughter was preparing to graduate high school there in Sapulpa. She was looking forward to wearing her traditional Navajo moccasins, and the school district pulled a surprise on you and say, no, that ain't happening, but things went on from there and seemed to work out. First of all, now that was mid-May, right? Is that correct?
Yes, she graduated on May 20th.
Okay. Now, had she notified the district that she was wanting to wear her moccasins instead of something else there?
Yes, she had gone to them previously because they had a senior assembly right before, about a week before graduation, and she informed the principal then that she wanted to wear her moccasins, and he asked her to provide him a picture of what they looked like, and that he would go to the board with them to see if they, were adequate and that they complied with the dress code. And so then she she did that, and she got an email back from him saying that they did not comply with the dress code, and she would not be allowed to wear them.
What was the rationale there? What the reasoning behind it?
He said that the first time he said no, he just said that they simply did not comply with the dress code, and then the second time he told us no, he told us that they resembled boots and that they were not allowed to wear boots at graduation. Now,
that sounds darn silly just on the top of things, but normally a cap and gown outfit nearly reaches the floor, isn't that right?
Right. It's about a little like mid-calf.
And so most of her moccasins that would actually have been covered up. Is that
right? Right. I mean, it's very, it really wouldn't have been visible at all.
Yeah. So that sounds like it doesn't make any sense at all. So were they kind of digging in their heels, saying this is the dress code and you must conform?
Yes, they were. They, like I said, the first time they told us no, her dad called from New Mexico and tried to speak with him, with the principal, and to explain, the meaning behind the moccasins and everything, and he still said no. Mm-hmm. So that was when we decided to go an alternate route with it.
Now, before we get away from that now, normally those other girls in the graduation were wearing, heels and that kind of thing?
Yes. We saw, the heels, flats, just, I think they kind of wanted everybody to wear what they called church clothing.
Uh-huh. And Now, tell me about the moccasins themselves. I understand from my experience, they do somewhat resemble boots. They're rather tall.
It's a moccasin, and then it also comes with a leather strap. It wraps up the leg, and that's the part that they said resembled the boot, was the part that wrapped up her leg.
Gosh. Now, by any chance, did they explain what their problem was with boots?
They just simply, they just didn't want, they didn't want her. They said that wasn't, what they wanted people wearing. They wanted people wearing dress shoes, and that it didn't look, it didn't look appropriate to them.
Mm-hmm. Well, shoot, I've seen some cowboy boots that look pretty darn good. So
yeah, there's some really expensive cowboy boots out there.
Both, of course, male and female, and if they wanted to wear them, I wouldn't see what the problem was with that.
Right.
Somebody's got some highfalutin expectations that people are. Huh? Now, what was your reaction when you got these emails and you first found out that your daughter Liseanne was not being permitted to wear her traditional clothing or boots?
I was gonna try to do, whatever I could, within reason, to see if I could, persuade him to change his mind, because basically, I didn't want it to, become like a real battle in the sense of it becoming, real negative. I was trying to, hope that maybe if we could just educate him, that he would possibly see a way around what his original decision had been.
Now, the addition of traditional Native American accessories to an outfit is not unknown. We've seen issues kind of get a bit tense over the wearing of an eagle feather on many of the mortarboard caps, and some places allowed it. I see where Washington State just sent out a letter from their state school board saying we recognize this as an honor and we haven't got any problem with it. So, and I've seen them appear in other places with different tribes and different students who were permitted. Girl here in Oklahoma, a Cherokee girl, was not permitted, I believe, to wear that addition to her outfit. And the odd thing is the logo and mascot of Sapulpa is the chieftains, right?
Right. Yes. Correct. That's the part that I had the issue with. That I was like, how could we be okay with using a stereotypical image of an Indian, but not allow actual traditional clothing to be worn at a graduation ceremony? That's the part I had. I really had a problem with that.
Mm-hmm. Did that issue ever make any difference to you before when you heard about it happening somewhere else? How did you react when you found out about other situations?
You mean like with other high schools that have?
Yeah, schools around the state or around the country where they had barred a student from wearing a feather or something like that.
I don't think it's right, because it's that's just being kind of a double standard. With it's okay for everybody to run around in headdresses and making taking a stereotypical image of a Native American and using it to their own purposes rather than allowing an actual Native American to wear their traditional clothing or feathers or beadwork.
Now, how important is it to you that our people be permitted to wear symbols like this and able to show pride in their heritage? What difference does that make to you?
It's important. It's really important to me because we're trying. As a lot of tribes are losing their culture, losing their languages. So I feel it's important that we teach today's youth to embrace that culture and to learn about it and to feel proud about it. I don't want them to feel shame. I don't want them to feel like it's not okay. I want them to be able to encourage them to learn about it, and for them to want to have that pride in their own culture.
By the way, I'm joined now in the studio by Dashing Darren DeLon, who's come in to co-host the rest of the show with me. Darren, we're speaking, of course, with Michelle Bear Robe from Sapulpa. And the issue of her wearing her daughter wearing her traditional Navajo moccasins to graduation.
How are you doing, Michelle?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I don't know if y'all have talked about it just yet. I know I was trying to. First off, my apologies for running late. The other thing is I was trying to catch up with y'all's interviews while I was coming over here. What parts have you and Gary talked about so far?
We've talked about the significance of Native mascots and in regards to graduation ceremonies and traditional clothing, and we've talked about the chain of events that led up to the situation with my daughter.
Okay, now if I'm not mistaken, they did Sapulpa Public Schools. They did relent and they let her wear her moccasins. Is that correct?
Yes, they did.
All right. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, with a cap and gown for graduation, that covers majority of the outfit that you're wearing under. I mean, so chances are they're not going to be seeing the moccasins. Is that right?
Well, the gown itself is about mid-calf length. So some of the moccasin is going to be visible, but it's mainly just the foot part of it and part of the ankle.
Okay. I know like I said, we know they both we know the school relent and let her do that. Did they have they talked to you or have they said anything to you since then?
They have not. They have not tried to contact me. I am going to try to get with the Native American student advisor there on campus and see what we can, find out exactly the details of the changes that were made to the dress code for next year and following years, because I want to, see if, hopefully that they really do carry through with what they said they were going to do.
Now, in all fairness to the Sapulpa Public Schools, they did issue a statement when they changed their mind there. And let me read an excerpt from it to kind of add to the issue here. And this is a quote. After careful consideration and reflection, Sapulpa Public Schools has decided to make an exception to previous restrictions regarding footwear. Native American clothing, especially ceremonial attire, as in this case, can and should be considered appropriate for inclusion in our graduation exercises. Regrettably, this issue has become something far more than one individual's desire to display her heritage for others to witness. Liseanne's case has been championed by several individuals from across the United States and has been the subject of much debate. And it goes on and say they learn from it and et cetera. Now, this is happening in a state that bills itself as Native America, and that rings a bit hollow when you see this sort of thing. Now, now I understand you. Did you contact the Native American Rights Fund, or did they come to you? How did that happen?
I contacted them. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Amanda Blackhorse.
Yeah.
Okay. She is Liseanne's aunt, and so she was the first person I contacted when all this occurred, and she is the one that got me in contact with the Native American Rights Fund.
And when NARF, as we know it, brought its weight to this discussion. What happened? Did it sound like the school sort of had some egg on its face there at that point?
Yes, they contacted the school with a letter, stating, it was a very impressive letter, I might add, stating the reasons why she needed to be allowed to wear the moccasins, and they also included a letter from, I guess, a staff member there that was also Navajo, and she was able to further further go into detail about, the significance of the moccasin and the reasons it should be worn.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Michelle, we're going to take a break here in a moment and let you go and get back to work there and give your daughter a buzz here and let her share her thoughts. But is there something final about this whole situation that you want to add or kind of point out or you think is important?
I just really am. I am glad that they did change their mind because, like I said, it's important for Liseanne and other Native students to, in this day and age, to be allowed to be proud of who they are and of their culture and their heritage. That's important to me. So I'm glad it turned out the way it did.
So well spoken. Well, thank you so much for taking time to chat with us here this morning. We wish you the best of all ventures, life, whatever. We thank you. Hope that everything works out for you. And I presume your daughter has some higher education in her agenda?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Michelle Bear Robe, mother of Liseanne Yazzie, who locked horns with Sapulpa School District and came out a winner there. So we're proud of you.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right, we're going to take a short pause here and see if we can't get Liseanne Yazzie on the line here, and we'll be back with her thoughts of being the student who had to go through all of this. So please stay with us here on Muscogee Radio on 1240 The Brew.
Who am I? Am I Native? I don't want people assuming things because I'm Indian. I just want to be me. But how do I live in two worlds? Some guys just check out by doing meth. But that ain't for me, because I see my family, my friends, my drum making, my future. There are a lot of cool things about being who I am, and meth isn't one of them.
Learn more at ncai.org, a message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians. Who am I? Am I Indian? Just because I'm a girl from the res, don't make things up about me. What if I move away? Then who am I? Some kids try meth just to escape, but then I think about my grandma, my little brother, my beadwork, my poetry, and I think, I like who I am, and I know meth is not for me.
Check out ncai.org, a message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
Okay, welcome back to Muscogee Radio here on 1240 The Brew. I believe we have Liseanne Yazzie on the line. Liseanne Yazzie.
Hi.
Thank you for making some time. I'm sure that you got lots of stuff on your agenda, but we wanted you to share your experience in this recent event you had dealing with Sapulpa School District. When you first wanted to wear your traditional moccasins, what were you thinking there?
Graduation is such a big step in anyone's life that I would want to express who I was and be proud of all the accomplishments that I made. And so I wanted to wear my moccasins to represent who I was on graduation day.
Mm-hmm. Now, are these moccasins special, or were they made by a family member or given to you or anything like that?
They weren't. You can buy those at a moccasin store in New Mexico, and my grandparents they bought those to me, and they many of my family wear moccasins like that. My aunts, my grandmas, things like that, and it's just a thing that is important to me.
Mm-hmm. Now, on first listen here, first glance, we would think that shouldn't be an issue. Most of them would, not exactly be out in front, kind of covered up by your gown. It shouldn't be a big deal. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so you went to the school district, informed them of your plans, and then how did you feel, and what were you thinking when they told you no?
I was shocked, honestly, because since the mascot of my school is a chieftain, and there's many other Native American tribes that go to that school, I wouldn't see it being an issue. Like, I was thinking they were just going to talk it over and be like, yeah, sure, go ahead. But no, they didn't.
Liseanne, this is Darren DeLon. How are you doing?
Hi.
Just wanting to ask, with the Muscogee Creek Nation, that Sapulpa lies within the jurisdiction, was there like any other graduates that, that are Muscogee Creek? Maybe were they wanting to wear like a ribbon shirt or anything like that? Were they able to do that?
I don't know. If they were, then I didn't know about it. Like, if they wanted to, then I didn't know. So I'm not sure.
You're not sure on that? Okay. So, you said you got like denial about that. When after that, what all did you have to do? I guess did y'all go through like an appeal or anything like that?
No. When they told me no the first time, my mom got a hold of my aunt, Amanda Blackhorse, and we asked her what we could do because we were trying to get this changed before graduation, and she helped a lot, and I just got a lot of support from people once my mom started reaching out and seeing what else we could do.
Now, with a lot of support, did you get a lot of like people that were still like, I guess, hating that you were doing that, getting upset that you were still pushing the issue?
There was more positive support than negative, so thankful for that. Like, I didn't really get a lot of negative feedback from this whole thing. It was mainly like positive, and people were supporting me in this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't really trying to blow this thing up and make a big issue of it, right?
No, I'm surprised myself at how big it got.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear from supporters nationally? It's what we understand that there was national support there.
Yes, there was.
Can you recall any names or groups or anything like that?
Indian Country supported me, Native American Rights Fund, the president of the Navajo Nation, and many other nationwide newspapers and stuff like that.
Wow, sounded like you had some big guns on your side there.
Yes.
Now you mentioned there was a lot of positive reaction or support for you. What did your friends think when they heard about this thing? What did they tell you?
Some of my friends, they were willing to. They asked me if they could do anything to support me or to help out in any way they could. But this was later on when we already had this stuff going. But they asked me like, why is he saying no? And I said I don't know. But they were there to support me, and they were there if I needed anything, but they were really supportive.
Well, that sounds wonderful. Nice group of friends there. Now, we have seen this kind of thing happen around the nation. Sometimes students were allowed to wear, say, an eagle feather on their mortarboard cap or, bead medallions or something like that. And many other times, unfortunately, they were denied, including a case that I can recall with a Cherokee girl here in Oklahoma. Why is such a thing like this so important? Why is it important to you?
Because that's who I am. I'm Navajo, and that's what I wear my moccasins to Native American church, which is a traditional celebration that me and my family attend to a lot. That's how I was raised. That's how I was taught when I was growing up, and I'm wearing those only like moccasins. But my Navajo side, they believe that that's what connects you to Mother Earth. That's what connects you to your ancestors. That's what connects you to who you are as a Navajo person.
Well, I can hear your Dene pride right there in your voice, and I'm thinking more power to you. Now, this hopefully will be setting an example for other schools to consider. Now, we all know that Oklahoma has Native America on its license tags and bills itself as this. They won't build a museum that they started, but they'll put it on the license tag. So does it seem kind of odd then that this sort of event would happen in a state that claims it honors its Native heritage so much?
Yes, that's actually another thing that we brought up. Why would you do this in such a state where there's so many other Native American tribes that live in Oklahoma? And I just didn't understand.
The whole thing I hope is kind of blown over now, and the school district decided to back down and make you an exception, according to the quote from their press release and statement from the district office, saying they had all learned a great deal from the experience and the usual flowery language that goes along with that kind of thing. Now, when you found out that the school district was going to kind of back down and make this change, how did you feel?
I felt proud. I felt so thankful that they said yes. Me and my mom and everyone else who supported me, they did what they could, and in the end, we got them to change their minds. I was really glad for that, and I was really glad that I was able to wear my moccasins on graduation.
Did you feel like you were representing a whole lot of Indians there?
Yes, I wanted to hopefully encourage other Native American kids who are graduating or who are going to graduate to want to represent who they are and want to wear traditional clothing like I wanted to. I want them to embrace their culture. And so I was representing those who were denied in the past, but I also wanted to represent those who were going to graduate.
Adele. We want to say congratulations on you sticking it out and graduating. So many of our other Native kids don't. And so when we hear of a success story like this, it just makes us all proud. Where do you go from here? You got plans for college or something like that?
Yes. I'm going to attend Haskell Indian Nations University in the fall. And then I'll be there for 2 years, and hopefully after that I'm going to transfer over to NSU.
Okay, I went to school there. I went to still Northeastern State College. Shows you how old I am. Well, Liseanne, please accept our thanks and our congratulations on your graduation. And you make us all proud that you and your family stood up to fight for what you felt was right, and all Native people. So Mado, we want to say Mado.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a pause here and shift gears a bit, and we're going to look at the schedule for the upcoming Muscogee Nation Festival. Staff from Tourism and Recreation will be joining us here, so please stay with us here on Muscogee Radio on 1240 The Brew.
Nearly 22 million women and girls and nearly 1.6 million men and boys have been raped in their lifetime, probably by someone they know. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, confidential support is only a phone call away. Contact the Muscogee Creek Nation Family Violence Prevention Program at 918-732-7869 and ask to speak to an advocate. Services are free and open to the general public.
Hear that? That's the sound of hope being killed by meth. Methamphetamine use is causing huge problems in our community. Hear that? That's the sound of something you can do about it. Events like rodeo, res ball, and family time can help keep kids away from meth.
Talk to your kids. Keep our culture alive. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
Learn more at ncai.org.
Welcome back to Muscogee Radio here on 1240 The Brew. Joining us in the studio now are a couple of good friends of ours, folks you have run across before. We're talking with Brian On the Hill, and Carmen Tiger is joining us. Is this your first time, Carmen?
No, it isn't.
We want to welcome you. And
Thank you.
That's right. Yeah, you've joined us before.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, folks, we've got the biggest event on the social calendar for the Muscogee Creek Nation, and that's the upcoming festival.
Oh, I thought it was my birthday.
Okay, it could be. Okay, we're here to celebrate Brian's birthday. Just forget the rest
the
of the
festival's
show.
an afterthought now. Thank you.
Yeah, that's going to stick in my mind.
Yep.
It's going to be funny like that. We have hinted at it, having many changes this year. What's the biggest thing that folks will see here, take part in this year's festival?
We're going to have a little bit of change in the music genre. Friday evening, June 24th, we're going to have B.J. Thomas and Lee Greenwood. And then on Saturday, June 25th, beginning at 7 o'clock, we'll have Blues Traveler, and we'll close out with Brett Michaels. And I know a lot of people are excited about that one. Both of those on Saturday, they're excited about them.
Yeah, I just got this feeling deep inside of me. Oh, that's marvelous. Now, of course, in past years, it's been the artists from the Motown genre who
Yes.
had entertained crowds there, but this is a real shift in gears here. Have you heard any reaction so far?
We've had a lot of positive reaction, especially from the Blues Traveler and also from Brett Michaels. You know, when we announced those, people were truly excited about it. And we've had, even more than I thought, more excitement about B.J. Thomas and Lee Greenwood. And I'm pleasantly surprised with that.
Now, you're talking about an artist there that was young when I was young, and we had heard him when he was new, and when he came out and did all those wonderful hits that B.J.
Oh, right.
And those are songs you could sing to. I think his vocal range was something that many of us could follow. So there are a lot of car karaoke or shower
Made
room.
it feel like you could make it, right?
Yeah, so thanks to him, you're right. The karaoke did come into effect thanks to him. So, yeah.
And that was before my time. Okay. Well, let's take a look at our schedule. Coming up this weekend is one of the signature events of the festival.
And that is a big change as well. They're moving the scholarship pageant to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I know in the past it's always been in the evening, and it's been a late evening for the ladies as well as the people who were operating the event. And so this year they're moving it to 3 o'clock, and it will be, as last year, in the Muscogee Dome.
Now, you're talking about tourism and recreation staff operating that event?
Well, no, I'm talking about the pageant committee, but we do help a lot with that. But yes, the pageant committee put a lot of work into that, and they still do. And they had a very late night the last few years because of the time.
Right, yeah. Gosh, there's so much that's always going on behind the scenes that people aren't aware of.
That's right. It's a lot of work.
Okay. Now, that is on Saturday, June the 4th at 6 p.m., and it's
3 p.m.
3 p.m., excuse me. I'm looking at an old schedule here. Yeah. All right, there it is. And it's got a new venue here, a new spot.
Well, we had it last year at the Muscogee Dome, and this year we're going to have it there.
It works out well for you?
It did, and so we're going to try it again.
Do you know how many, contestants or people that are running for Princess and Junior Miss?
I'm not aware of that. I
that?
haven't been made known to that.
Mm-hmm.
So the pageant committee plays a lot of cards close to their chest there. Huh?
That's correct. I think they want it to be a surprise to all of us.
Okay. Well, perhaps the host will get the names right this year.
I heard about that.
I heard that's a trend both here and nationally.
You know, we always notice this about, tourism and recreation. Y'all do work hard. You work diligently, to make this happen. And, a lot of people focus that the Creek Nation Festival is usually, the main part is the fourth weekend in the month of June. That is true. The bulk of it is, but the festival really lasts. It's all month long.
It is.
It really. Like you said. Like this weekend starts it off with the pageant. Next weekend or the weekend after, if I'm looking at correct, is the golf tournament.
Yes.
That's right.
The golf tournament is the weekend after.
Speaking
the
of
pageant.
which, yes, now that is Friday through Sunday on the 10th through the 12th.
Yes.
And that's at Fountainhead, right?
Correct.
In
yes.
Chakotah. What kind of draw does that have? Is it usually full schedule?
Every year that I've been here, I've known that the golf tournament has always booked up way in advance, and they've run out of space. And so this year they're making it 3 days as opposed to 2.
Okay. Is there any particular prize or something that might be drawing them, or do people just like to take part?
I think we have $1 million hole-in-one.
Whoa. Good Lord, I'd take up the sport for that.
Or maybe it's a new car. Was it $1 million or a new car? Which one is it? One or the other, but they're both good. We'll take them.
Oh, that would be an expensive car. Okay, that's, of course, at Fountainhead.
They just fixed the antifreeze leak in my car, and I'll be fine with that one, to be honest. I'll try and hit a hole-in-one for that. So.
Yeah. Take a couple of dents out of my old pickup there. Now, that, of course, is at Fountainhead, the 10th through the 12th. And there are fees, of course, to register and take part, right?
Yes, and you can find all that information at creekfestival.com. Please check it out.
Okay, now, next item on the agenda is moving to Friday the 17th, and I know this one's a popular event, and that's the slow pitch softball tournament, right?
Yes, and Mike Sands is our coordinator for that. Mike Sands has been in the department for almost 8 years now. He came on a little bit after I did, and we really enjoy working with Mike. He's a very hard worker, very, very subdued, very... What do you want to call him? He's a very hard worker and doesn't talk a lot about himself.
Yes, he's reserved.
Very humble.
How about laid back?
Yes.
He knows what he's doing.
His heart is with softball.
What is it about softball and Native people?
I think it's part of life, just as much as religion is for some of us. For some others, it's softball.
Well, it is a religion for some of them.
There you go.
I know guys who didn't even have a job, but darn it,
they find a way to make the entry fee.
They make it to a tournament. Yeah.
You're borrowing gloves and bats and all kinds of stuff. Here, can you take the kids for the weekend? I'm gonna go play softball.
And this time they'll have the splash pad to enjoy while their parents are playing softball.
Yes. Now we want to give you guys so many compliments on that splash pad. I was there the opening day, and good Lord, dozens and dozens of kids were just having a good time.
And we've had people there, I think, every day. If it's hot, regardless of whether or not the sun's out, people are there.
And that's 8 to 8.
It is 8 to 8 every day.
I know Jason Salzman and I, the host of Native News Today, we were like talking about that. We saw all those kids at the splash pad yesterday. We're like, y'all just wait about 15 more minutes. It's about to rain. So,
yeah, right.
But yes, like you said, I mean, they're out there. They're taking full advantage of it.
They are. Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, the splash pad is self-operational. So if you're out there and it happens to shut off, there's a sensor. Just wave at the sensor. It'll come back on for another 30 minutes.
Or get caught in the rain. Mother Nature's splash pad there. Yeah. Okay, any idea how many teams are involved in the tournament, by the way?
I don't have a count on those right now because Mike's taking applications daily. People call in, they want to be put on the list before they even turn an application. But these are repeat teams, so we want to make it easy for them. And, we usually have over 50 teams for the softball tournaments, and it takes a while to get this tournament completed.
I have seen those lights on late in the evening. Of course, I'm not there that much in the evening, but I understand there are some that go into the wee hours.
Right, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Good, that is dedication.
Right,
folks.
and then, for those of you who don't know, the people who are helping with the tournament, along with Mike Sands, Chris Tiger, and Joe Hicks, Roger Johnson, those people stay there until those wee hours, like you said, and then they show up the next morning bright and early, 8 o'clock.
No, but they're not so bright or early then.
Well, they try to be.
Oh. That is, of course, the slow pitch softball tournament. Now, on the 18th, on Saturday, they're a continuation of that tournament.
Yes.
And I understand the sport has returned to the festival.
Yes.
They've got a tennis tournament.
Right, and that's going to be at the Hawthorne Park, which is where the losers bracket will play for the softball tournament. So that'll be going on at the same time.
Okay, now, why was it important to bring that sport back here?
I think this is something that came from one of the child care workers, Vicki Tate. She's the one that's coordinating it, and she just brought it to her attention that they hadn't done that in a while, and she wanted to know if we could bring that back, and she would like to coordinate it. And of course, we were open to that discussion. So we moved some monies around and made it possible for her to hold this tournament.
Gosh, are you aware of? Are there a lot of Native people who play? I mean,
You know, the length of time I've worked here, I've had people come in every year asking for a tennis tournament. And I'm really surprised myself at the number of native tennis players that there are. And we've received quite a few applications already.
no, I tried it a bit myself once upon a time, but found out I did not have a backhand, so I decided to give it up. Okay, now moving on. Also on the 18th at 9 a.m., we have an adult 3-on-3 basketball tournament.
Right, that's going to take place in the Muscogee Dome, and that lasts a good part of the day as well. And I think those people have a really good time.
Now, Darren, you're a basketball player, right?
Yes. Yes, I am. We're going to give it a shot this year, too. Jason Salzman and I think he's picking up 2 other players we're going to be on. We're going to try and get in that tournament.
Okay, okay.
So we're going to see. Hopefully we'll last. We can last longer than 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Hopefully we won't get beat out.
Are you hoping for a double elimination?
We know there's going to be a double elimination, so yeah, we're not worried about that. We're just hoping for more wins than losses.
Okay, good deal, good deal.
Yeah,
and you know to be careful at those tournaments because some people think it's stickball as opposed to basketball.
Especially when there's call your own fouls.
Yeah, we're not going to try that this year.
Who was it? The guy from the Thunder caught one.
McGroin.
Yes.
McGroin? Thank you for saying
That's
that.
right. That's going to happen. I bet you that's probably going to happen. Unfortunately, it's a physical sport. I mean, accidents happen. I don't know if that one was clearly an accident, but those do happen.
Right.
So.
It didn't look like it.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God. Anyway, that 3-on-3. Is that full court, by the way?
No, thank goodness it's not. It's just one court. You got to take it back. Like if you get a rebound, you got to take a certain area. And that's how you just keep playing.
Yeah, I was
keep
thinking.
playing until you get to like 15, I think, 15 or 21, whatever the score is. So.
My God, having to cover that whole court, just the 3 of you.
And there'll be a lot of substitutions, I promise.
Okay, where are we here on?
We are on. We're going to
Sunday.
Yes. Yeah, 19th will be, of course, a continuation of the slow-pitched softball tournament, which will probably be, the semifinals and the finals will be coming up about that time.
Correct, and we hope to wrap it up that evening.
Do you recall, are there, like, teams that consistently perform well? I mean, any dynasties out there?
Yes, there are, in the slow pitch and the fast pitch.
Oh,
And people look out for those teams every year.
who dominates?
I couldn't tell you the names of those teams. That's Mike Sand's area.
Yeah, okay.
With even though you can't tell, do you know where these teams travel from? Well, we got a bulk of it, of course, around Oklahoma, maybe
We do.
some nearby states. But is there any ones that come from maybe like Florida? Or
Right, we
anything
do
like that?
have teams from Florida, Alabama. I talked to someone from Alabama the other day. Missouri, New Mexico, Arizona, those areas. We do have people that travel quite a ways just to play in the tournament.
It's pretty great because, a lot of our teams around here will go to those states too.
That's right,
Yeah,
right, to their festivals too.
Yeah, and it's a pretty great thing that they come here to
Right.
this one just see the competition. So, and it's funny because even though they're coming from like all these other states, they know each other. They know
do,
how.
they
Yeah,
do.
they know. I mean, they're like you can consider them rivals even though they are from different states.
Right, some of us have powwow, some of us have softball.
Yeah.
It's all intertribal.
That is hardcore. Yeah. Okay. Where are we? Thursday, the 23rd. Now, here's an event here that a lot of people will be interested. First of all, the Living Legends will be taking place in the Muscogee Dome. Now, is that like the Hall of Fame? We used to have the Living Legends years ago, and then it got changed to this
Yes.
black tie thing. And
Yes, and now we're bringing it back to
bringing
the
it
people
back.
at the festival so everyone can enjoy it.
That is so wonderful.
Yes, and so we've already taken all the applications. The deadline has lapsed, and I think they're in the at the point of choosing the 4 recipients.
4?
4. There will be 4 recipients.
Okay, and I presume they're from all walks of life.
That's correct. Yes.
So we get to find out on the 23rd, and you must be present.
Right at 5 o'clock in the Muscogee Dome.
All right.
Clock's Omniplex.
Now, the one of the most popular events comes up right after that. At 6:30, there is the stomp dance.
Right.
I've already had the call. We want your PA system again. Can
Okay,
you do
good deal.
Yeah.
And did you cooperate?
Of course.
Okay, thank
Proud
you.
to do it. Make sure that we do our part to help out in
Awesome.
particularly a traditional celebration like that. But it's hard to stand downwind from that. Was it pork roast, hog fry?
There you go, hog
yeah.
fry.
Oh boy. Okay, and that goes on into the wee hours until people just sort of decide to
Trickle out.
Yeah,
Get
that's
tired.
Yeah.
Dusty and tired.
Okay, boy, them turtle shells getting heavier. Okay, now we got the 24th. That's when things really kick into high gear. By the way, you will be hearing Muscogee Radio live again.
Playing only the classic
stomp dance. We will be broadcasting live from the festival grounds. For our listeners, come in if you got a moment, drop by, come over and say hi, and we'll be talking to folks there at the festival live here on Muscogee Radio. But in the morning, it starts off real crazy there over at the stadium, right?
Oh, yes, we do. We have a good event that starts that morning at the Junior Olympics. And all the kids from the local areas and some even from out of state communities get together and bring their children to participate in these events. They have a really good time. It's very hot. I know the volunteers have a good time out there as well. And after those Olympics are over, they're pretty much ready to retire for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny seeing all that too. I mean, because they got to get there. I mean, it all starts at 8, so they're showing up there about 6:30 that morning, all in their eyes, trying to fight the sleep away. But when it comes time for the events, 6-7-year-olds, they're ready.
Right.
Right. I mean, that competitive fire is right there, and they're going to run. They're going to run, and they'll yawn right after that. But during that time, they're running.
Olympic yawning. There's.
I mean, I guess a good example, of course, is my daughter. Whenever she does it, yeah, she's always maybe 5 minutes before her race when they're in their little heat.
Yes.
You'll see a lot of them in that heat just yawning.
Right.
But when they get ready to line up,
that's all their energy right there.
Yep.
Now, there's a lot of track and field kind of events, like running, jumping.
Yes, shot put, long jump, high jump, softball throw, I think, basketball or free throw contest.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of things that go on down there, not just your regular Olympic events, but a lot of running takes place.
It's a great thing. Yeah, it's a great thing. I know whenever we did the show last year during that time, I know we had to do an opener, and then right after that we had to gun it down there because we wanted to do it on location.
Okay.
And luckily, I was on the 50-yard line just looking at everything, and I was trying to get somebody to stop and just talk to me. Yeah, they go, no, we got a jump rope over here. No, I got the free throw sheet over here. It's like, my son's fixing to race.
Yes.
Can you wait a second? No, it's live. I can't wait. But I understand that they can't wait either.
That's right. So. I can remember when I was about 7 or 8, and I was part of the Junior Olympics, and I remember being so excited and being with the community. And sitting out there waiting for my turn, and I ran the 100-meter dash, I think is what it was. And I remember coming in second place, and I was very upset.
Yeah. Oh, poor thing. I have to. I'm proud to say that my favorite event is the tug of war.
Okay.
Yeah.
And particularly the little guys.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool to watch these little, 3, 4, 5-year-olds in their little team jerseys and just hauling away on that rope and screaming. Parents are screaming and yelling. I remember one guy he was at the end position, where they put a loop around
the anchor.
him. Yeah, the anchor, thank you. And he fell down, and he said, poor thing, started crying. I said, no, I can't help you.
Right.
Yeah, I think his team lost, and he felt like it was his fault. But to see him just struggling and straining and just working so hard to win those events is just amazing.
What I want to bring up now is, of course, on the Junior Olympics, but we got the senior citizen activities. Can you tell what all do they do during that time?
I know they have a free throw contest. Mm-hmm. They have arts and crafts available. They eat together, and everyone loves that. They have a jacks competition, I believe, and horseshoes, so on and so forth. It's basically like a mini Olympics for our senior citizens.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing: last week it was a senior games that they had,
right?
And
right.
This is going to be coming up too, and I'm not going to lie, these senior citizens, that competitive fire is still there.
Yes.
They're cutthroat.
Yes.
I mean, they are cutthroat. I mean, they talk trash to each other. So I'm going to probably see they're probably I guess if one of them got beat, they'll probably say, okay, I'm going to see you at the senior citizens activity.
Yeah, right.
They signed up there. I know another couple of drawing that line, just wanting to come over and cross it and everything. I know that's starting up, but it's always good to see especially among Native Americans, that competitive fireness, it never dies. I mean, it's going to keep going no matter what. And for example, the senior citizens. I mean, I just don't want to get in their way during that time, especially when they lose. I mean, we had one. There was softball throw. Mark Hill, one of the guys that works with us, got hit in the head. Got hit in the head with a softball. He was like fixing his camera, and they said, "Watch out, watch out!" Like, he didn't look up in time, so he got hit in the head, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Oh, concussion time.
Yeah.
I'm qualifying for those things, I think, now that I'm a senior, so I might have to check it out. Now, coming up is a couple of things. During that morning, of course, the Children's Fun Fair opens up.
Okay,
and all the rides there, and you see all these schools come in, the buses park, and all these little kids in the same colored T-shirts.
Right.
Running around, just having a wonderful time. It's
and
all
it's free. Yes.
Free. And they can ride it as many times as they can handle it.
Until like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, right? So parents have a good time bringing their kids out there.
Right. Now, and then while all of this is going on, we've got traditional skills, which is such an important part of the festival.
Definitely.
Anything in particular this year that will be among that?
I think it's going to be the same thing as it has been in the past. I know that we'll have the canoe on display, and we also have the cornstalk shoot, and they'll be practicing for that. I think they have marbles, the addle throw, so on and so forth. I think that people have also been there to show how to make pottery in the past. I think maybe Scott Roberts was there, and he may be there again to show people how to throw pottery or make coil pots and things like that.
Right. I've always been intrigued by the cornstalk shoots.
Right.
I actually shot as a kid.
Oh, yeah?
With my father. We went to a few little meets here around Tulsa and Tahlequah and things like that. I remember a guy spearing a phone line with an arrow once, and he probably knocked out long distance for the entire area there with a big point going right through that line.
A sniper right there.
Yeah. And people should know that these bows and arrows, they're all handmade.
Yes.
And they're made in the traditional way, and they're called longbows. So if you haven't seen that, or you don't really have in mind a concept of what that is, please come out and check it out.
Right now, these guys are serious. No, guys, I say guys. It's not all men.
I've seen some women shoot
women
too.
out there too.
Yeah, a few kids trying it, but mostly those men are so serious about it. I mean, this is a religion, if you will. And their bows they made themselves, and of course arrows with these big long spikes on the end of it, and launching them down. Was that 80 yards, I believe, isn't it?
I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah, from what I remember. Anyway, that's always kind of cool, and they've got stuff for sale, and clothing and arts and crafts and things like that. What else we got? Food market downtown here on the Council House grounds, and arts and crafts vendors and food vendors throughout the area, selling all kinds of fun stuff.
Right, at the Omniplex, and like you said, at the Council House Square.
Right, so you got a chance to get your fry bread here in downtown and
right
out there. Moving on, also on Friday begins the All Indian Rodeo. Now it says finals here, but I don't know. Is that like competitions from around the country?
Well, we'll have the rodeo starts on Friday at 6, Friday, June 24th, and then the finals will be the following day at 6 o'clock on Saturday, June 25th. We also do have what's something different this year, the Slack. That will start at 8 a.m. on Friday because the program has gone so long, and because there are so many contestants, we can't fit them all in the program. So that will begin at 8 o'clock on Friday morning. So those of you who want to see some rodeo, you'll be able to see it all day long, as opposed to just in the evening, as in the past.
Right. My hat's off to those guys, particularly the bull riders. I mean, you got to be nuts to strap yourself onto 1,000 pounds of angry animal and let them try and launch you across the fence there. So good luck to those guys. Where are we here? Entertainment, bingo. We come to the first presentation there at 7 p.m. of your live entertainment there at the stage.
7 p.m., BJ Thomas. 9 p.m., Lee Greenwood. And then everyone's favorite afterwards, the fireworks. But we also don't want to leave out that the fast pitch tournament starts that day as well at 6 o'clock. 5 o'clock. We're going to start at 5 o'clock, and so everyone gets their applications in for that, and we have a huge turnout for that as well. Everybody come out and support your favorite team.
Okay. Besides that, we have horseshoe tournaments. Of course, the 3-on-3 basketball, volleyball tournaments.
Saturday,
which is hugely popular. Of course, food markets going on all this time. Important thing, there's a safety seat check. That's conducted by Light Horse, isn't it?
No, that's conducted by the Health Division.
Health Division.
And they'll
okay.
be there to make sure your seat is properly installed for your child and that your child is riding safely in the car. And another thing that I'd like to point out that's really important or that people like is the 5K. And we'll have a 5K run, we'll have a fun run, and also a walk for those who don't feel like they can run or just don't want to run and still want to participate. And all of those things are available online as well. And you can also get a hard copy from our office.
No, that's great. Yeah, Darren, do you run this?
Yeah, I do. And if my knees got up from the week before on the 3-on-3, I'll probably be running in that 5K. I know you got a great person that's coordinating it, Sean Partridge,
Yeah,
right now.
she's awesome.
Great person, also a great runner too.
Yes,
So
and she's hard at work on it.
Also, on Saturday, of course, in the morning at 10 a.m., we've got the parade.
Right, the parade. It's always a big event. And we've got a new coordinator this year, Jennifer Killian. She works in the Scholarship Foundation program. And if you'd like to get your float or your community, organization, church, so on and so forth, please contact her, Jennifer Killian.
Do you still accept entries there?
We're still accepting entries, yes, up until about a week before.
Okay. No Star Wars this year, folks. I decided to retire.
Gary backed out on us.
Yeah, that stormtrooper armor got pretty warm.
That's really hot.
Yeah, okay. Now, last year you had, 90 or so entries.
I think a little bit over 90 entries, yes. And we're hoping for at least that or more this year. Just so please call us and let us know that you're interested.
Yeah, and gosh, biggest event downtown. Yeah.
Yes, it is, along with the arts market and the food market that the Cultural Center and Archives puts together.
Okay, moving on down the schedule here, an important part of the ceremonies is the creek singing and gospel singing at the Dome. Now, that's in the Dome this year, air-conditioned.
Yes. It accidentally moved to the Dome last year because of an accident that happened in the Mound. We're going to bring it back to the Dome this year because I think it's good to have everything there in one area so our seniors and whoever else might be interested don't have to travel across the road to get to this event. It'll be right there with everything else. They don't have to leave whoever they're with. And it starts at 3. We're going to probably wrap up around 6 o'clock. We've got a new coordinator for that this year as well. So along with the Creek hymn singing, we're going to have also some good Southern gospel singing.
That's such an important part, and I love hearing those bass voices.
There you go.
Guys who lead. Do you lead songs yourself?
I do lead songs thanks to some great teachers at my church, Kentucky.
Yeah, just amazing. Okay, we're getting down to the last couple of minutes here of the show, and ta-da, 7 p.m., more live entertainment.
7 p.m., we have Blues Traveler. Please come check them out. I know there's a lot of excitement around them, as well as our 9 o'clock performer, Brett Michaels, and some of you remember him from the band Poison. I know my dad was asking me exactly who did he used to sing with. I can't remember. Poison. He said, oh, that's it. And so we brought to mind some songs.
Wasn't that an old hair band?
Yes, there you go.
Big fluffy heads.
I think he's still bringing his hair as well.
His hair will be with him, yes.
Yeah, he still got it.
I think that's part of his contract, right? Mm-hmm. Security for the hair.
Right.
Now, if there are extensions there, my wife will know it. Hey, he's faking it. Yeah, faking it.
And then once again, fireworks to wrap up the festival that evening. And then the fast pitch concludes Sunday, June 26th.
Wow.
That's quite a schedule. It's pretty much the same kind of lineup every year, but you've made significant changes this time.
We always throw in something a little bit different.
And great. We just think those changes are wonderful. What you all did are just right.
Thank
and
you.
From what I've heard from, water cooler talk and just a little bit of gossip, word of mouth kind of stuff, they're really glad that these new artists will be joining us.
Right.
We look forward also as well to this new genre. We're very excited about it.
It'll be a change. And also know that there's a lot of changes going on at the Omniplex, some repairs, some remodeling, and so you'll see some new things that are taking place there as well. Our team works very hard and works very well together.
And each year just gets bigger and better.
It does.
It really does.
Yeah, I could see that. Now, because of it, you're still looking for help. I understand.
We always can use help with volunteers.
And if somebody wants to?
Anybody that's interested, call us at 918-732-7992 or look at creekfestival.com and you can find out what events and who's coordinating them and what you might be interested in and call them and get on the volunteer list.
Okay. Wonderful lineup. Anything you want to add in the last few seconds we got?
No, I'm good to go. Just looking forward to it.
All right.
I want to say thanks to the volunteers and the coordinators. We really appreciate you.
Yes, they make things happen. Okay, well, for Darren DeLong and myself, we want to say thank you for listening to Muscogee Radio.
Hello.
You've been listening to Muscogee Radio. Join us again next week for more local, tribal, and community news and updates. Madam.